Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Strength Students podcast, soon to be something else podcast. Spoiler.
And I'm Steve Carty.
And I'm Chuck Taylor. I'm your co-host, Steve Carty, guys.
And I'm your other co-host, Nick Scopoletti.
And I'm Steve Carty. Great episode for you today, guys. We have our good old friend, Damian Russell, who is an adventure sport athlete. So he does, if not familiar with adventure races, he does like Spartans and warrior dashes and battle frogs and zoop-de-zoobs and zippy-zaps. And he does it at a fucking super competitive level, like world championships level. So we're going to be talking to Damian about that today and what his training is like for that and so on and so forth. Before we get started here, just kind of like take you guys through our training, man. Like, so you guys are updated on what we're doing. So Nick, how about you, man? What do we got for training? What are you up to? What are you doing?
I don't really know. No, I'm just like
good.
I'm messing around with new stuff. I did some box squats the other day, front loading, like a front box squat. Just been having like some hip and back stuff that I really can't figure out. So, did that. Just like did full body. I basically pick like a farmer's carry, a push, a pull, a squat, and that's it.
Word.
Simple. In and out.
Nice. I'm doing
cardio, a lot of walking.
Solid. I'm doing the CrossFit Liftoff today, which is an online, essentially like the online version of like the open for weightlifting, but it doesn't really count towards anything. It's just like a one-time competition thing. But max out your snatch, max out your clean and jerk, and then you do some crazy ass metcon at the end.
And then your parents are super proud of you.
Exactly.
They hug you.
Before we start here, guys, we can get you going with some dad jokes. So, Nick, your favorite part of the show. What did the yoga instructor say when her landlord tried to evict her?
What'd she say, Steve?
She said, namaste.
I actually like that one.
Yeah, you picked that one, you fuck.
I like it a lot.
Quick announcements here, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram and follow us to our cars. Mm-hmm. Go like us on Twitter. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to us on iTunes, on Stitcher. Give us a 5-star review. Also on SoundCloud. We always forget to mention that. If you're on SoundCloud, if you're a frequenter of SoundCloud, go check that out. And give us a like, man. Give us some feedback. Give us some 5-star review. That would be awesome. So we really appreciate that if you guys rip that. I think it's time to slide in those DMs, send some news. Wah, 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 wah. That's the new soundbite for the send news. So why don't you take us through the send news today, Nick?
Yeah, so I've been really liking this guy's stuff lately. Go to Dr. John Russin. I believe he's a PT, he's a trainer. He has like a functional hypertrophy program. Good stuff. So Dr. John Russin. Russin is Rusin. Check him out on Instagram. He literally will post something, and then it's usually a link to an article. So the article for this week is 5 steps to building a pain-free deadlift. So how to customize the deadlift for you.
That sounds fun.
Right.
No pain in the deadlift sounds fun.
He gives you 5 points. I'm not going to go over each one. I'll just give you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like the list of them. Basically, he speaks about how, not everyone's built the same. Not everyone needs to do the same thing. The only people that are required to pull a barbell from the floor are, power lifters in competition and Olympic weightlifters. So he's saying if you want to deadlift, but, maybe you can't pull from the floor or you have some injuries, like maybe pull from a rack, maybe go sumo, maybe, and he gives just a whole bunch of things. The first thing he gives is finding optimal foot and hand positions. So this is based on you for your deadlift. Finding your optimal height to pull from, that's number 2. Like I said, you could read this article yourself. Step number 3 is owning hip hinge position. So being able to actually hinge, spine resiliency, having joint integrity in both hips, et cetera, et cetera. And then the assistance movements that will help. Add technique work for the sumo deadlift. He's a big fan of that, especially like a raised sumo. That's kind of what I've been doing. And also number 5 is, programming the sumo deadlift into your training week. He talks about if you're general population, like keep it simple, deadlift once a week. But if you are competitive and you want to, really ramp up the numbers, then have a max effort day and a speed day, like Westside Barbell. That is a very general oversight of this article. They gets pretty in depth of certain movements you could do to build tissue resiliency with the hip hinge and your hamstrings and all that. So give it a look. He has a great Instagram. Literally will post something, him doing a cool movement, and say these are the 5 or the 10 things you need to be doing to stronger core, better back, fat loss, everything. There's always something. I would say almost every day I'm clicking on this guy's stuff and reading it. So go check it out.
Is he on Instagram?
He is, Dr. John Russell.
Does he have a good Instagram?
Great Instagram.
Word, I'm about to go check it out.
Great Instagram.
All right, sweet. We forgot. We were going to talk about Worlds, the weightlifting.
Yes.
Worlds. Yeah, so weightlifting Worlds are going on right now in Anaheim, California. It's going pretty good. I think the countries that are doing the best are Colombia, Thailand, and what was the other one? I think India. They're like killing it. Thailand has had like a bunch of like top 3 finishes. Colombia is doing sick. A whole bunch of records being broken. Some dude from was it Iran? I forget. But some dude who's 19 clean and jerked 484 and broke a youth record, I believe, with that. So that was pretty dope.
484.
484, yeah. Clean and jerk. 19. 19 years old. That's crazy. But yeah, U.S. has been doing pretty good. We had I forget his name, James. I forget his last name. 77 kg lifter finished 3rd, and then Maddie Rogers finished 3rd in her class, which was dope. Most of you probably know who that is. Her ass is all over Instagram. So
not literally her ass, just her.
Oh, okay. But yeah, she did great.
Agree to disagree.
And then Lydia Valentine, world champ. That was pretty cool. She's a very, very popular lifter. So pretty good world so far. Pretty entertaining. I mean, they're doing a good job of keeping up with it on social media too. Like all the best lifts, all the lifts from each category from the weekend, or they're doing a good job posting that. And it's like, I feel like every time I scroll my feed, like it's like new world record.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, by the time I think in our lifetime we're going to see someone clean and jerk 600 pounds.
Yeah.
I think.
What's the most ever done?
It's in the 5s, I think.
Yeah.
I think like recorded. I looked at it a little while ago. It's like 5 something or something like that, like 550 or something like that. That's pounds. That's pounds for you. Yes. Our international lifters.
Yeah, we're American. We're sorry. We have trouble with the kilo conversion. 2.2.
But yeah, so Worlds, go check that out. By the time this episode gets released, I think the 105s and 105 pluses will have lifted already. I don't think we've seen them lift yet before this has been released, but yeah, make sure you keep a close eye out for that. Worlds are going on. It's good stuff. Snatch, clean and jerk, Olympic weightlifting, cool stuff. Power.
Love.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. The only commercial we have. And when we get back, maybe not soon, though. Might have some more commercials coming your way. But when we come back, we're interviewing Damian Russell today. So he's our good buddy who is a world championship level competitor in Spartan Races, Tough Mudders, the adventure races, things like that. He's pretty legit. So we're going to talk to him. Don't go nowhere. Be right back. Want more of the Strength Students podcast? Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and on Stitcher. Stitcher, I just met her. Everyone can hear? Everyone's good?
Do we need new ones of those, you think?
Yeah, we need a lot of new things.
Let's discuss that after.
All right, we are here with Damian Russell.
Well, thank you for having me.
Went right into it.
Yeah.
Scared him.
Oh, yeah, we're going right into it.
Right.
Adventure racer / obstacle courser / future Olympian.
Yeah, hopefully.
What?
I mean, I think that's the goal,
there we go.
Ultimate goal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just give our audience like a little bit about you. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? All that.
Sure. Yeah. Like you said, my name is Damian Russell. I was originally from Colorado Springs. My father was in the Air Force, and then work obviously brought him over to the East Coast. I grew up in upstate New York, and then eventually moved down to Massachusetts, and then ultimately Connecticut, where I am now. Growing up, I was never really big into like organized sports, so I was big into like skateboarding and snowboarding like that. And
Nice, dude. Shredding the gnar.
That's right, getting those fresh
You're
lines.
Was it more like snowboarding because you were on the East Coast, or?
Yeah, snowboarding.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
X Games, Tony Hawk.
That's right.
Nice.
I played
dude.
Tony Hawk.
Request.
Oh my god! I played Tony Hawk most of my childhood.
Right.
I sucked on a skateboard though. Anyways, continue.
Got big into snowboarding on the East Coast, and then actually was on rides like Flow Team. I was working with Ride Snowboards for a couple of years. Definitely one of the reasons why my first year of college definitely went to shit.
All the snowboarding.
Yeah, because I think my first year of snowboarding, I like was out there 180 days, and then like 2 days in class. Or
I'm gonna be
like
Shaun
that.
White.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just picturing like a classroom setting, and they're like taking attendance, and it's like Russell, Damian, and it like pans to your seat, and you're not there, and then it like cuts to you on a mountain, like,
Right, yeah,
like jumping and flipping and shit.
Exactly. I mean, the teachers were super cool, they actually, and they're like, as long as you pass your exams and get the homework done, you know.
Oh shit!
So it all
They're
worked
like, we
out.
know what you're doing out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just pass your goddamn test.
Right. So I did track in high school. I did the 800 and the 4x4 and the javelin. Definitely loved that, and tried keeping up with it outside of high school by trying to try out for the U.S. team and stuff like that. But again, I was still big into snowboarding, so I was like, do I really want to run for the rest of my life, or do I just want to shred the gnar? So
Shred the gnar.
Right.
Oh yes.
So obviously years went by, got a career, and got the job thing, but still was passionate about running. So 2015 was my first race over at with the Warrior Dash, and I was like, I think we got like a Groupon deal. So like, I'm not gonna spend $90 to go run in mud and stuff like that. So we got a Groupon deal. I think it was like $50 for each ticket. But then we did it and fell in love with it, and the rest is history.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And so, what do you just for work, real quick? What do you do?
Yeah, so I work in
professionally?
healthcare IT. So I work with Harvard Healthcare. We're implementing a new electronic health record. So I'm on the project team that's implementing that. Me particularly, I do the instructional designer, so coming up with the curriculum to teach end users how they use the new electronic health record.
Shit, that sounds super complicated. So your first race was a Warrior Dash.
Yes.
So what sold you? Like, were you just like in love with it, or what happened?
It was just something to do on the weekend. My girlfriend Isabella was like, do you want to try this? We did like the electric runs, you run at night and there's a DJ just pumping out music.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that in Hartford.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And then so she's like, that spring, that's when we did the Warrior Dash. She's like, do you want to try it? I was like, why not? So
Fuck it, right?
right, exactly.
Rip right into it.
Yep. So like I said, we did that race and fell in love with it. Warrior Dash is definitely a race where people can start off with. It's more family oriented, really simple. It's a 5K, maybe 20 obstacles max. But they're really simple, not technical or anything. So it's definitely a good introduction to OCR.
What do you mean by family oriented? Like not like naked dudes running around with raging hard-ons as they're doing obstacles?
That's the type of family I want.
Hey, there are some people that run that thing in like thongs, and there's some. Yeah, exactly.
That's you, Damian.
Yeah.
Fucking lied.
Maybe my next race I'll do it for you guys.
Yes.
But no, family oriented, just
I'll
like
come.
more for all ages. I mean, there's not like you don't have to have like some type of athletic background.
Oh,
Anyone
gotcha.
So like really, if a mom and their son want to go out there and just run the race together, they're not going to be challenged where someone's not going to be able to do it. So,
Oh, gotcha.
It's not going to be like
Yeah.
jumping over pits of fire or like some crazy ass.
Well, they do have fire, but I mean, like you have to be able to jump maybe a foot in the air. If you do that, then you can get over the fire.
Never know, man. Never
Yeah,
know.
exactly. That's true.
So when did you get competitive with it? Like when did you start to say, okay, like this is something I'm going to pursue and get competitive with?
Probably right that day. I was like I said, I missed running. I wanted to try finding something to get back into it, but just I hate the monotony of just foot to pavement. Just we're going out there for like
Yeah, it sounds
15K,
terrible.
just
Part of it.
running.
So you're not one of those guys who's like, man, I just love like the running. I love just running
Like
for
Forrest-
miles and
Forrest
miles.
Gump's?
I'm like,
No.
yeah, I don't get it.
No, so that's when I fell in love with obstacle course racing because it breaks up the miles. So you're not always just focusing on just running. You're like, okay, what's coming up
Yeah,
next?
you're
What
like
if-
climbing a fucking wall.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, something else like
and
that.
it breaks it up to, so most races it's like every quarter mile there might be something or a bunch of obstacles within a quarter mile, so it breaks up those distances. So
Got
it's
you.
more of like a sprint distance, and then first is like a full 5K, 10K, whatever it might be.
Word. And so what was, did you start getting into like more intense races after that, or
Yeah,
like
so
longer races, harder races? Or?
So I only did one in 2015, but then 2016, that's when I really picked it up. Then I saw like the competitive aspect of it, where there was like elite in competitive waves. So I was racing more in early 2016. I was racing more in the open waves, which is for everybody. There's, it's not super competitive, but then I was like, I was just killing it. So I was like, might as well try moving up, to a little bit harder wave. So that's when I got into the competitive and the elite waves, and then I was like, man, I got some work to do. These guys, there are some fit athletes out there.
Damn.
So I mean. They're running these obstacles that were taking me, 30 minutes to do. They're doing them like 15 minutes. I'm like, God.
Damn.
So, yeah.
That's crazy. What does it take to like become professional or get to those elite levels? Like, what are the qualifying?
So there's not really qualifying for elite or professional. Anyone can sign up for those waves. It's just, is it going to be really worth it for you? So the competitive and elite waves, they have like mandatory obstacle completion. So if there's...
Oh, gotcha.
So
you don't have to qualify for it. It's just kind of like, it's like doing a CrossFit comp. Like
Yeah,
anyone can sign up for an RX comp, but it's like, can you fucking do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Is it really going to be worth it? You're going to get your money's worth. Is it going to be even fun for you if you're, being blown out and not being able to finish the obstacles? So like there are like some requirements where if you're running an elite competitive wave, they try saying like, your 5K time should be 20 minutes. If it's
Okay,
so if
gotcha.
it's not like around 20 minutes, maybe it's not for you because it's just a very fast-paced race.
That's a pretty legit 5K time too, no?
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
That's fucking fast. I was gonna say last time I did one was like 33 minutes, and I'm
Right.
like, I wasn't in bad shape or anything. That's a fucking fast 5K.
So it's just
Damn.
under 7-minute mile.
Okay.
No.
All right. Do you ever see anyone like sign up for the elite and they're just like they just get blown out of the water?
Yeah, so a lot of people. So Spartan has this thing where you can qualify for the Spartan World Championships. So if someone qualifies or has already qualified and runs elite again, they can't qualify again. So they have like a drop down. So the next eligible person will get that coin for the World Championship. So some people just stick it out even though they're getting killed in the elite waves. They're just hoping everybody in front of them's already qualified so they get that spot to go to the World Championships.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So you just competed at speaking of that, you just competed at World Championships, right?
Yeah, so Spartan has every series kind of has their own World Championships, but then there's the World Championships, which is a combination of everybody from all the different series.
So the series meaning like Spartan,
Tough
Battle
Mud,
Frog.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Battle
cool.
Frog. There's the nuclear race over in England, and so all around the world. So the World Championships over in Canada, I think there was like 67 nations that were represented in like 30 countries.
Damn.
So it was a really
Wow.
good turnout. And there was people from all over the place, like South Africa, Australia.
Shit, dude,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
So we're talking like thousands. Do you know the exact number of how many people competed?
No. So in the short course, I think the number was around like 3,000. In the long distance, the 15K, I think there was a little bit more, like 6,000, somewhere around there.
And you did which one? Both?
The short
or
course.
The short one.
Yeah, I did the short course on Friday, and then that Sunday there was the charity race for Make-A-Wish, which we raised $20,000 for. So
That's dope.
yeah.
And so how
Pretty
did
sick.
you end up doing in the short race? In the
Yeah, the short race. When I crossed the finish line, I was in the top 100. So
out of 3,000.
right.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I think it sucks
So-
in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I definitely could have been done better.
So you can get top
Jesus.
50, fucking loser.
I know.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, I know. What was I even thinking? So yeah, I crossed the finish line. I made some stupid mistakes that cost me some time. I was on pace for a 6-minute mile, but one of the obstacles, my foot dragged and touched the ground. So they're like, nope, you got to redo it. So I was like, shit.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So there was 20
it's
people
like
in the
legit.
retrying lane. Yeah, and so it
Damn.
added like 10 minutes to my time. And I was like, son of a bitch.
What was the obstacle?
It was so they're called rigs. So it's like a combination of mostly upper body with like a little bit of like footholds just so you can get to the next section. So it was actually on the Battle Frog rig. So you had to do a series of monkey bars, grab the rope, but I didn't grab the rope super high enough. So when I let go of the monkey bar and swung with the rope, my foot dragged on the ground. And so I was trying to transverse and grab the next rope, but they're like, no.
No rep.
No rep.
That must suck.
Yeah.
Having to like redo an obstacle.
It definitely sucks because you're like, for me, I get in the zone, like I just focus, just trying to move on, and then someone's like,
That
no,
fucks
you
you
have
up.
to back up, do it
Yeah,
again, and
yeah.
wait. So like that waiting period definitely sucks because your adrenaline's going, but then you have 10 minutes, your body's starting to cool down, it's starting to wear off, you're starting to feel that fatigue, and you're like, man, I just want to go. But
Yeah.
it
shit.
is what it is.
So talk about some of the other like obstacles that were on the course.
Yeah, so the first half of the race, there's normally about like a mile or so of running. But in that mile, they'll have like simple things, like they might have like a wall you have to jump over or something just to challenge you, to break up, so you can't really get in that zone, just to keep you on your edge. But there's some really technical, there's mostly upper body in this championship, where there were a series of monkey bars. There was a yoke carry, or supposed to be a yoke carry, but the part of the obstacle didn't show up, so it looks like we're just carrying heavy ass grocery bags a quarter mile up the mountain and back down. And then they have rec bags, like a 50-pound rec bag that you have to do. I think it came out to be about a quarter mile hike with it and back down. Rope climbs. If no one's familiar with rigs, it's kind of hard to explain, but they're a series of like monkey bars, rings, different type of obstacles where you have to like transverse across it, and then you always have to ring a bell. They had some like American Ninja Warrior style obstacles where it was like a giant like zip line, and you had to slide down it, but going down it, there were some blocks where you had to be able to do like a muscle up to get the bar over these little hooks in there.
Oh shit!
Hook it in.
Yeah, and then to go over it.
Yo, that's intense, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and then they have one of the hardest ones. It's called it's by Indian Mud Run. It's floating walls. So there's a series of, I think, like 6 walls that you have to transverse against or on, and they swing back and forth, and you have to climb up a cargo net and do another series. And it's like, so the first set is probably 10 feet off the ground, and the next set, I think, is like 15, 20 feet off the ground. So, and you're at that, it's right at the finish line. So your forearms are on fire, your grip's gone to shit. So you're just trying to hold on with all your strength. Like, man, I can't F up right here in front of everybody at the finish line.
For real.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Insane. That sounds
Word.
fun, though.
Oh yeah, it's definitely fun.
So talk a little bit about kind of the progression of your training. Is there a progression to your training? Like, are you looking at a full season of competing, and you kind of training goes up and down based off of that, or are there cycles of your training, or is it just you're always working on the same
Sure.
stuff?
Yeah. So this past year, working with Justin, we were trying to figure out that cycle out, figure out what works, what doesn't. So there's a lot of trial and error. I had a lot of races scheduled for this year, but qualifying for the World Championships, Justin was like, maybe we should cut some of those out because champions don't race every single day. You see like Matt Frazier or them out there competing at every single competition. So I cut some of my races out to, try working in those workouts and try figuring out the pace and everything that I need to for the World Championships. Post World Championships, my training is going to switch up a little bit. What I was finding was that CrossFit definitely bridged that gap initially, but getting into like mile 3, mile 4, I was starting to die. So definitely going to be working in more longer endurance runs. So my training coming up for 2018, I'm going to be doing like a sprint day, so anything under 5K. I'm going to do 5K and then like a hit style type workout where it's just mostly like body weight or kettlebells, but fast pace and high intensity. with then doing like some type of hill climb heavy carry. So like yesterday I went up to McLean Game Refuge over in Granby and just hiked 3 miles with a 40-pound book bag. And you're just up and down just to work on those mountain legs because the race is
shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those type of workouts, and then endurance days. So anything over 5K, that's going to do endurance run and then some heavy weight lifting just to build in that strength.
Word.
Yeah.
So talk about when you first started training, and this would be for anyone who is looking to like get into training for these sorts of things,
right,
whether it be competitive or not. Because I've even had people who they're not looking to get competitive. They just want to do a Spartan race or this or that. And I don't feel like there's that much information out there as far as like specifically training for these things. So talk about what you would recommend to someone or the direction you would point someone who is thinking about starting competitive adventure racing. And then maybe some things that you would have done differently when you started, or maybe things that you found really helped when you started.
Sure. So if people are just looking to get into it, I would make sure you can be able to run a 5K, even if you have to break it up. As long as that's like an attainable distance for you,
right.
Because they might say they're a 5K, but then you get out there and then you look at your watch and you're like 5 miles in and you're like, what the fuck? This should have been over 2 miles ago. Yeah. So just make sure you're able to run at least a 5K or work up to it. It doesn't have to be fast paced. If you just go for a light jog and it takes you an hour, it takes you an hour. But just know that the minimum distance is 5K. But then just really find comfortable shoes, I guess, because you're going to be running up and down stairs, jumping over obstacles. You're going to be running on uneven terrain and stuff like that. So that was like one of my biggest mistakes, was like not having the proper footwear and then dealing with shin splints and stuff like that. So if it's something that you're really considering doing or getting into, just finding a good pair of shoes that are support you and are stable on rocky terrain and hiking up mountains and stuff like that.
Like, what do you wear? Are you wearing like hybrid sneaker / hiking shoe type deals, or are you just wearing
so
like
they
regular?
Actually start, like a lot of companies, since obstacle course racing is one of the fastest growing sports in the world right now.
It's getting super popular. Yeah,
like Tough Mudder had over like 2.5 million people registered last year.
God
and that's just,
damn.
Tough Mudder alone. So that's nothing across the country or the world.
Right.
So a lot of companies are actually making shoes geared just for obstacle course racing.
Shit.
So they drain water well, or they provide certain support, or they have 2-inch studs on them so you grip in mud and stuff like that. But as far as training goes, just start running, stretch, because your body's going to be being pulled and you're going to be pushing your body in new directions that you haven't been in a while if you're not used to doing these or any type of these activities. So yeah, definitely those would be key. Just building up your running distance, stretching, making sure you're limber, and proper footwear. Then the obstacles will come later once you start doing them. You'll find the technique. You'll watch people do it, so you'll discover your own way of doing the obstacles. But just making sure you're limber is definitely key. You don't want to pull muscle and then you put a bad taste in your mouth, like, fuck Spartan race. I tore my shoulder and can't work or anything like that. So
I give up.
Sweet.
Right.
All right, Damian, man, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Learned a lot more about adventure races today.
Yeah.
Appreciate having you on, man. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Love you.
Want more of the Strength Students podcast? Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and on Stitcher. Stitcher, I just met her. Before we wrap up here, guys, we have a really special guest, something we're really excited about. We are here with CT motherfucking Fletcher. CT, how are you doing, man?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. So excited to have you on the show. Just talked about some adventure races, man. What do you think about like Spartan races and all that?
Does that involve bicep curls or what?
I guess if you're doing like the monkey bars, but
Monkey bars? What the fuck is that shit?
You don't know what the monkey bars are?
Nah, man. I'm 50 years old. I ain't been on playgrounds in years, motherfucker.
Yeah, so speaking of that, man, you're pretty big internet success, pretty big YouTube success at 50 years old, man. How did that come about?
You know, man, I've been lifting my whole goddamn life.
Word.
And then all of a sudden, this YouTube shit came up. And I was like, let me put some motherfucking videos out there talking about the shit I've been doing for years.
Did you know what a video was at the time?
Hell no, motherfucker.
Wow. Didn't even know what a video was.
Not at all.
Interesting. So how did you find out about YouTube?
My kids, man. My kids were like, Dad, you funny as fuck. And you strong as fuck. You should put some shit on the internet.
Yeah, you are a pretty strong guy. So let's talk about that a little more, kind of your programming and how you lift. What's kind of your programming philosophy?
Arms. Every motherfucking day.
Okay, all right. That's every single day, do arms.
Every day, man.
All right.
When I first started training, I said I want some big-ass arms. So you know what the fuck I did? I did arms every goddamn day.
Wow. And what's some advice you'd give to people as far as, sets, reps, things like that?
Just go until you can't fucking go no more.
Every single day.
Every goddamn day.
Just
Ain't
arms.
no such thing as overtraining, motherfucker.
Just arms.
All those egghead, bonbon eating motherfuckers on the couch at home, picking apart my program with their certificates and their degrees. I'm a goddamn world champion, motherfucker. I don't need that shit.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I was unaware of your work before you came out on YouTube. So you were powerlifting before in your life?
Powerlifting. Got the strict curl press record that was just broken, I believe.
Wow. Strict curl press. Is that event in the Olympics or?
Hell no, motherfucker.
Word. Okay. I didn't know they kept track of that record. Anyway, your diet as a powerlifter. Talk about that. You've had some health problems lately. Talk about your diet as a powerlifter and how that's kind of played into.
Yeah, I used to go to McDonald's every day, man. Get a couple cheeseburgers, some fries, because I didn't want to take fucking steroids. I didn't even know what the fucking steroid was. I'm from Compton, man. I don't know what that shit is. So I figured I just got to eat like a motherfucker and get big as fuck. So I did that.
If you could say one thing to your biceps, what would it be?
Grow, motherfucker. I'd say it to your motherfucking biceps, too.
Can you say it to my
calves of yours? What the fuck is that,
man?
Can
you just scream it at my calves for a couple hours till I get bigger?
I don't know. You're going to need some help, man.
I'm going to need maybe two people to yell that at my calves.
Tattoo both your calves and cover those shits.
Covering that shit up, dude.
Smart. Don't wear shorts, motherfucker.
So what about legs, man? What does your leg day typically look like?
Usually I start with tricep extensions. And then it goes right into preacher curls, then back to overhead tricep extensions. And then, I do 3 lunges per leg and then back to triceps.
3 lunges a leg, huh?
Just 3. That's it, man. Just keep the hips a little mobile.
Oh, shit.
And then right back to doing motherfucking arms. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so arms every day and do 3 lunges per leg a week, guys. There you go. That's the CT
That's all you
workout,
need, baby.
man.
That's
Full
all
body
you need.
experience.
Walking, I walk everywhere. That is a leg
What
workout.
happens when you walk?
I crack the goddamn sidewalk, motherfucker.
That's pretty aggressive, man. The town you live in must have
You
to pay a lot of taxes.
trucks with some asphalt to cover all the goddamn cracks in my goddamn town.
Wow, that is impressive, CT. Well, we are just about out of time here. CT, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Glad we finally got you on. Guys, go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher. Go check out our SoundCloud. Leave a 5-star review. Make sure you guys go like our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, and is that all our social media? Yeah, all those.
YouTube, motherfucker.
Go check us out on those. Guys, leave us a 5-star review. We love all of our listeners, love all of our watchers, and we love your guys' feedback too, so give us some feedback.
I hate y'all motherfuckers.
Exactly. All right, CT, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Fuck you, Steve.
Want more of the Strength Students podcast? Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and on Stitcher. Stitcher, I just met her.